Hey guys, welcome to a new playlist on my channel. This is going to be somewhat different from what I usually play. This is going to be a visual novel. It's called Katawa Shoujo, and it basically means disability girls. It's a visual novel, a Japanese visual novel of things that happens between a regular guy and girls with. You'll get it throughout the main story. Okay, so first thing that I want to do is I want the disabled adult content on because YouTube rules and stuff like that. I want to keep it clean. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start this. Hopefully you guys will like this new playlist, and yeah, we'll start it. Okay, so what is happening? Okay. It's snowing. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Numbing! Not nubbing. Numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. Someone sly there. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. Yeah, I guess you could say. As I pondered the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like the time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Somehow is approaching me from behind. Hi, Hisao? Oh, it's not hi. She's trying to pronounce his name. Hisao, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than eavesdropping to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's me. I'm the protagonist, I'm guessing. Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result? Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile. That makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. Oh, looks like his heart's beating already. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. Yeah. Okay, what's happening? So, here we are, out in the cold. Awkward conversations. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. What kind of word? I don't know what that word is. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of the wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. Okay, my throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know, if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try and massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. He's having a heart attack. Because if you have, pains like that going up, your arm, that means you're having a heart attack. It's a sign you're having a heart attack. Hisao? Oh gosh, this guy, yeah. My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Damn. He's out. The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. Man. So, I'm guessing this guy has a heart condition? Oh, is this the intro? Foley Studios presents. Okay, so there you go for the, just to settle out the plot of the whole entire story. Our protagonist has, a condition, a heart condition. And he was confessed to, which led to his said heart condition to, increase, because it's always, you're always going to feel that rush throughout your veins and stuff like that when, something exciting is happening. And of course, he knew who she was. And I'm guessing they had some sort of, connection before all this. So he was kind of nervous, and that's what made his blood rush and stuff like that. Because, they're probably like childhood friends or something like that. And so when she was confessing to him, he was nervous. He was like, oh gosh, is this really happening? Am I gonna actually, finally be able to go out with her or something like that? And so which led to his downfall. He had a heart attack, which kind of sucks. You don't want that kind of thing to happen, even though while a girl's confessing to you. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Oh damn. He's been hospitalized. Oh, that sucks. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word, a foreign alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition, it causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Huh. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all afresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Damn. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Jeez, I had to fix my freaking reading problem. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answers shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I'd stop watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism from my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital. Although it was more like a storeroom for books, I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I'd even become a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hand. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like the time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of the book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I could even cry. Jeez, this guy's got it rough. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao? How are you doing? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. Yeah, we're finally going to get out of the hospital. After 4 months of recovery, we're finally going to leave. Yes. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? Wow, that's a lot of side effects and things you have to do. The absurdly long list of medications stared back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse side effects, contraindictions and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I tried to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. Wow, that's crazy. I'm afraid that is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from highly regarded general hospitals. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look of a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to keep your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school had gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in other hospitals is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. Well, what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question. It's funny. I had always thought of my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction of shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I don't know. I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. Yeah. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. Yeah, you should always, try to strive for the best, even though you're always held back by something. Whether it's a disability or, something that holds you back. Everyone has flaws. Just remember that. But, those flaws don't have to hold you back. You can, overcome them. There are a lot of ways of overcoming your flaws. Just don't think too much on your flaws, or else, you just doubt yourself and stuff like that. But, just stay positive. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Yeah. So you always have to have a positive side of life. Don't try to, look at the negative side. Just don't think about that. I'm guessing this is me. Act 1, Life Expectancy. Man, that was a intense, introduction to the character, the protagonist. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for the school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. Yeah, it does. Of course it does. It always does. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have. More like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and a smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it is. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. Yeah. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just the school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that steeped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again. How they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. Oh my gosh, I cannot read. Calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haunting main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and with this realization set in mind, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki? Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. I have to use a different voice. Okay. Okay, let's try this out. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom teacher and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither formal nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked for your brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going to introduce you to the rest of class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Sure. Oh, I guess I have to enter, yeah. Yeah, sure, I mean, isn't that normal? Of course. But not everyone likes to be the center of attention. Like I was thinking in my mind. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Oh gosh, that painting. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying so much about it, at least not this soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around partially, so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is usually high, and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames, simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school. But then, why would they be here? They're probably like me. They have something wrong with them. Only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I noticed that one of the girls seemed to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking to you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone as young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to wherever she's doing. She's kind of cute. She is the cherry-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her at the moment I walked in. Please, welcome our newest classmate. He clasps his hand, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has one little hand Except one girl in the first row who has only one hand I cringed a little, but hid it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. Yeah, be humble. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are regarding... oh my god, I said regarding. My hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied, even with what little I said, though a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have gone worse. Yeah, it could have gone worse. Blink. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in the bandaged stump. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She is the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else wouldn't be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As she calls out her name, the cute, bubbly looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. Oh, I need some awesome dialogue or something like that. But I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna end it at a cliffhanger. Right before I make my own dialogue for her. I'm gonna have to practice, just to make things cool and interesting. But I hope you guys like this new playlist that I'm gonna be making. Like and favorite if you enjoyed. Write down in the comments to your heart content, whatever you want, whatever pleases you. And I am the Lexicon Gamer, and I will see you guys in the next video.